What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I want to talk to you guys about an interview I just saw regarding Anthony Joshua from IFL. You know, they asked Anthony Joshua how he felt of Deontay Wilder. They asked him about Jerome Miller, and they asked him about Tyson Fury. Okay, and Deontay Wilder, he said, well, I think Deontay Wilder's a good fighter. There's a reason why he's a champion. He's unorthodox. That's what could possibly make him dangerous. And he's not a champion for no reason, and then definitely he has a huge right hand that, that he's a good fighter. He went on to say, they asked him about Jarrell Miller. He said Jarrell Miller is like a parrot. He said that, if you get 5 top heavyweights, he has the same thing to say about each and every one of them. If you cut him in half, you see no hearts, lungs, kidneys, none of that. He's just a disease. Wow. Also, Tyson Fury. They asked him how did he feel about the Tyson Fury fight. And he said, well, I don't know how it'll do for boxing, but I know that's good for him. Obviously, he couldn't pay him 80 million pounds to fight him on April 13th because he made him a good offer. He didn't go in specifics about how much it was. I wish he would have. But it was a good move for Tyson Fury. Now, let me go back on Counterpunch and all this. Go back to the beginning. Deontay Wilder. I noticed that Deontay Wilder, you don't hear Anthony Joshua say derogatory things about Anthony Joshua. That's that humility. That's that, I respect the next fighter. On top of Deontay really don't go too hard. I mean, he talks more shit than Joshua does. You know what I mean? And since Joshua's here in America, it's just hard to believe that Deontay wants that fight that bad to me. Because, he's here. He's been here. He was here a couple weeks. He comes in and out of the U.S. all the time, man. But he did give props to Deontay Wilder. I see more of positive things that Joshua says about Deontay Wilder versus the other way around. You know what I mean? That's me counterpunching that. Jarrell Big Baby Miller. He called this man a disease. Okay? And there's something I forgot to add in. Jarrell Big Baby Miller, he said that he's looking to knock him out in the 4th round. Now, mind you, you remember the video that of course, the press conference, the shoving, Jarrell Miller pushed him. And I'm thinking, Jarrell Miller's, one of his tactics is to get in Anthony Joshua's head. So, Anthony Joshua, could probably fight affected if he's pissed off, you know what I mean? Or mentally affected. Him saying, hey, I'm going to knock him out in the 4th round. Or, I think I'll murder him. He's made, these are the things he said. I think I'll murder Miller. I think I'll knock him out in the 4th round. He's just making it harder for himself. I've heard a lot of comments from friends of the family say the same thing. Now, I think that he is affected because, I'll murder him. He was on AK and Barack, so let me include that interview with this segment. And he, that's what he said. I think I'll murder Miller, I'll knock him out in the 4th round. I'm knocking him the fuck out. You really don't hear interviews like that with Anthony Joshua. Think about it. When was the last one you heard like that on this magnitude? You really haven't. You know what I mean? This is like an emotionally or an intense press conference. You know what I mean? This is more aggressive. You haven't seen Anthony Joshua this aggressive. And he says, "Hey, I was just having fun. You have to go with the moment. You have to fight fire with fire where I'm from. You don't fight fire with finesse or water. You fight fire with fire." So that's his way of fighting fire with fire. But then he's like, "Oh, I was having fun." I'm like, well, it looks like Anthony Joshua was mad. That kind of reminds me of when Trinidad fought Bernard Hopkins. And this was like the last fight of a middleweight tournament for all the belts in the middleweight division back in 2001. Mind you, Bernard Hopkins was able to piss off Felix Trinidad. It was a press conference in Puerto Rico. They were at a stadium. Bernard Hopkins grabbed the Puerto Rican flag and in front of thousands of Puerto Ricans and threw that shit down to the ground. They had to airlift Bernard Hopkins out of there because it started a riot, but it pissed Trinidad off. So he got to Trinidad. Trinidad normally doesn't really get pissed off during fights. You know what I mean? He's that dedicated, no nonsense, come forward, beat my wheel type of fighter. But he was mad. And I think that affected the fight, as a whole. Now, he did get knocked out in the 12th round. They stopped the fight. But not saying that's going to happen to Anthony Joshua. However, that is a scenario because to Joshua's credit, Dillian Whyte, when he fought Dillian Whyte, he was equally pissed off at Well, not equally, because I never seen him this aggressive. You know what I mean? And he was emotionally engaged in that fight with Dillian Whyte. But like Joshua said, I still knocked him out though. But then you still got rocked. So the question is, Jarrell Miller, being the way he is, does he have enough firepower to hurt Joshua? So, those are questions you ask yourself. But it's like you're setting a standard, but he did clarify, like, look, I'm not stupid. I know what I'm doing when I fight in there. So he did clear that up. But it's kind of like, okay, but you semi-set a standard or a certain, not a promise, but he set a mark in there or something to look for. So he's going to be looking for a 4th round knockout. Now that could be pretty dangerous if, because he was like, maybe 4th round. But before he was saying 6 or 7. Now he's saying 4. Then I'll murder him. Those are words that are coming from someone that is pissed off, I feel. So, that very well might be the case with Jarrell Miller. But he said he is a disease. No heart, lungs, or kidneys, just disease. Wow. I never seen him, comment like that. However, Tyson Fury. He mentioned he doesn't know how good it'll do for boxing, but this is good for Tyson Fury. Well, I know what he was meant, or I know what I think he meant by that. You don't know if you're going to see the best fights. Like Canelo is actually doing a good job. He's fighting Danny Jacobs next. He got the money out of the way. So if Tyson Fury goes down that road, he'll be better off. He just fights the fights that people want to see. Well, what happens when you sign a deal like that, and, of course, they have other entities involved, you might not get those good fights. So I understand what Anthony Joshua, what I think he meant. Because, signing a deal, you have other obligations to build. That's an introduction. So he needs an introduction fight, some type of way to fight someone that is probably less threatening because you don't want to lose out on your investment in the first fight. You know what I'm saying? So, it'll definitely be somebody, quote unquote, like a warm up or somebody that is that can easily introduce him into this contract. So, but anyway, Anthony Joshua also said that he didn't think the $50 million was real. And Dillian White confirmed that he was. He was like, well, he offered Dillian White over 5 million pounds, and, so who are you going to believe? Because Dillian White said it was real. It's like, well, Dillian White was the first. It was the same guy that said I gave him the lowest offer too. So which one are you going to believe? All right. So no, it was an interesting interview, and I'm going to end with this. They said, well, how does this affect you? Hope you don't get too, emotionally involved in this fight. He was like, look, compared to my years, my 30, 40 years of life or whatever, I don't think the 10 weeks with Miller is that much. Because he was like, after June 1st to 2nd, he's irrelevant to me, given if he beats Jarrell Miller. So that's a good analogy to have, and a good mindset to have. So, we'll see as these press conferences progress. Will they get a little worse? Will it be like Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, where these guys are scruffling and shuffling and all this types of stuff like that? Will it be that way? Who knows? Right? So, but anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.